Hello, this is Yogesh 7000 again, and I'm back with another interesting topic on Vedic astrology. And today we'll be talking about a very important planet, which is the planet Sun. And around the Sun, we all know that all the planets are revolve around, including the planet Earth. And what happens if Sun is placed in your fourth chart as per your natal birth chart? Now, as we know that Sun does move in the zodiac, the 12 zodiacs in approximately 1 year, and every zodiac, which is 30 degrees, is covered by Sun in approximately 1 month, because there are 12 zodiac signs, 12 houses, and Sun moves into all those 12 houses, or covers a distance of 360 degrees in approximately 1 year. So it's obvious that it'll stay in one zodiac sign for approximately 1 month. Because why I'm saying approximately is because the Western calendar does not match with the Vedic calendar. So there are fixed days in the Western calendar, but eventually, it's 1 year, 360 degrees, and Sun moves from one zodiac sign to another zodiac sign in approximately one Western calendar month, so as to say. Now, we all know that Sun is stationary. So how does it move? I mean, why is it shown as moving? It's because it is moving in relation to Earth, because we are sitting here on Earth, and it's Earth which is revolving around the Sun. But in relative terms, since we are sitting here on Earth, we draw a chart and it appears that Sun is actually moving from one zodiac sign to another zodiac sign, although that's not true. And it always moves in the forward direction, unlike Rahu and Ketu, which move always in the reverse direction. So Sun is always moving forward, meaning which it's never Vakri, which is reverse direction. Vakri is a Sanskrit word for reverse. It's always Margi. Margi is a Sanskrit word for moving ahead. So anyways, so what happens, we are not talking about transits, we're just talking about in the natal chart what happens if Sun is placed in the fourth house. Okay, and this is coming directly from the ancient scriptures. And first we have to understand, what does the fourth house represent? The fourth house represents our home, where we live, and our mother, our peace of mind. But here the ancient scriptures say very clearly that in case Sun is placed in the fourth house, a person will have defective limbs. So fourth house is not connected with limbs, but anyways, that's as per the shlokas given in the ancient scriptures. So I'll recommend, especially astrologers, to do a little more research in case you find birth charts where Sun is placed in the fourth house. But it's very clearly mentioned that he will have defective limbs, and also it is mentioned that he will be opposed to the public. So he probably will not have a lot of public support, as to say. And it makes a lot of sense. Why? Because Sun gets directional strength, or digbala as it's called in Sanskrit, in the 10th house, and the fourth house is right opposite to the 10th house. So obviously, it's not a good placement for Sun anyways. And also the scriptures say that other than the fact that he'll have defective limbs and he'll have opposition from the public, so as to say, because people whose 10th house has a placement of Sun, get the support of the public. So if it's placed opposite to the 10th house, it will have opposition from the publics. That makes sense. And it's also mentioned that he will have a hot constitution. So, you know, he's going to be like a Pitta constitution. That's also mentioned for people whose sun is placed in the 4th house in his natal chart. We're not talking about transits once again. And it's also mentioned in the scriptures where when sun is placed in the 4th house, the person will not do well financially. He'll not be rich, so as to say. Now, the scriptures have also mentioned some exceptions to this rule. They say, okay, well, if sun is placed in the 4th house, all these negative things which we just discussed will be there. But let's look at where the Lord of the 4th house is placed. Okay, so in case a Lord of the 4th house is strong, either by exaltation or in its own sign, or its position in a Kendra or a quadrant house, as you call it, or a Trikona house or a trine house. Okay, so in these cases, if the Lord of the 4th house is strong, then of course these negative effects of sun being in the 4th house can be negated or can be taken care of, what we just discussed. Also, in case the Lord of the 4th house is placed in a strong house, or it's well placed either in a Trikona or an angle house, then he will acquire good conveyances, because the 4th house also represents conveyances, the vehicles you drive. And then it's also mentioned that in case the Lord of the 4th house is aspected by a malefic, or it's placed in a bad house. And what are the bad houses? Well, the bad houses are, you know, 6, 8, and 12. And, you know, sometimes the 3rd house is also considered to be a bad house for a placement of a planet. Then, of course, this person will not acquire top class conveyances or vehicles. Also, 4th house, like I just mentioned, that also represents your house where you live, your lands, what you acquire, or what you have or you possess. He will not have those. In case the Lord of the 4th house is placed in bad houses or aspected by a malefic. So what the ancient scriptures are saying, that sun's place, first they are saying that sun's placement in the 4th house is really bad. And they've very clearly mentioned defective limbs, and the public will be opposed to him, or he'll not get support from the public, and he will not be well off financially. Okay. And they've also mentioned that look at the Lord of the 4th house then, and then if the Lord of the 4th house is placed well, then he'll acquire good conveyances, good lands, good vehicles. And in case the Lord of the 4th house is not well placed or not strong, then these acquisitions will not be there, like vehicles and lands. And he may even have to live in other places, other people's homes or other people's lands. He may not have a land of his own. So this was a little description of when sun is placed in the 4th house. Also, there are certain other scholars, which are recent scholars, which have mentioned as to what happens when sun is placed in the 4th house. Of course, 4th house is a house of happiness. The other scholars have mentioned that they will not have any happiness, and they'll have mental unrest, because the fourth house is about happiness in the mind as well. Okay, and they even go to the extent of saying that he may not have friends, and he will lose his paternal property. So the fourth house is not good, or if sun is placed in the fourth house rather, then along with the ancient scriptures which say that he will not be well off financially, he will have defective limbs, he'll have problems related to his land, they've also extended it to he may lose his paternal property which he has inherited from his parents. And they've even said that, you know, some scholars have even gone to the extent in saying that he will, whatever they've acquired, they will squander it away as well, and he may actually have to serve a wicked king. So look at, for this combination, a wicked king when sun is placed in the fourth house. That's the opinion of one of the Vedic scholars, recent times Vedic scholars. Now in today's day and age, we know that there are no wicked kings. There are no kings, so how will they be good or wicked? So then how do you translate it? Well, your boss. So in a job, in a person's birth chart, if you see sun placed in his fourth house, then look out for a situation that he may have a very tough boss. I don't want to use the word wicked. And some scholars have even said that in case sun is placed in the fourth house, he will always remain away from his native place, meaning which fourth house is the motherland. He will stay away from his motherland, and he will be defeated by his enemy. So these are all problems associated with sun in, or sun's placement in the fourth house. It's not a good placement at all as per the ancient scriptures and as per the recent Vedic astrological scholars or Vedic astrologers of recent times, you know, about 1,000 years until about 1,000 years or so. And how it can be countered is, like I said earlier in this video, it can be countered by the placement of the fourth lord in good houses, like a trikona or a kendra, which is an angle or a trine house, or exalted positions or its own sign, but not in bad houses. So if it's, you know, if sun is placed in the fourth house and the lord of the fourth is placed in bad houses, then you've had it. It's really, really bad, and all these significations which we've just discussed. So this was a little video on what happens when the sun is placed in the fourth house. Hopefully you enjoyed it. In the meanwhile, I will recommend subscribe to my channel and check out my website. There is a link below, and I will see you with an interesting topic on Vedic astrology very soon. Goodbye.